Hey gang, good to see you back. For those of you showing up for the first time, I am the Articulate Grunt. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to start out with a little disclaimer, and I'm going to try and move through rapidly from here on out. I've been investigating the Golden Dawn for about 2 or 3 weeks now, and I've dug up so much information that I'd literally be on here for at least a half hour just to try and encompass everything. So I'm going to brush briefly over the top, try and give you a good overview. If I don't answer your questions, shoot me a comment or an email. I'll either try and answer it myself or point in the direction where I got my information so you can get good, in-detail, in-depth information. But let's get going. The organization that would become the Golden Dawn laid down its original foundations in 1980. However, it first received attention and notoriety recognition in 1991 and again in 1993 when it registered as a political organization and actually run for electorate offices. Now, over the next decade and a half, they'd win the occasional city council seat, minor positions in individual cities or counties, little parts of the Greek government. Now, so you know, scholars and media personnel refer to the Golden Dawn as a neo-Nazi racist organization. The organization's leader openly refers to it as a nationalist and racist organization. Now, the Golden Dawn has 2 sections to it. You've got the Golden Dawn, which is the political body portion of the organization, and you've got what, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it in Greek, but what translates to the Blue Army. These are the physical, boots on the ground street workers getting things done out in the community. Now, the Golden Dawn political body has really started to take off and take notice because if you've been paying attention to the news, Greece has been going through a 5-year recession and is basically bankrupt. Now, in order to get European Union bailout and assistance, they had to make some really austere changes and cuts in their government and their spending, cutting welfare, Medicaid, all those kind of programs, plus cutting back on the police and other public services. And it still hasn't been enough. They're still in a severe problem situation. On top of this, Greece is referred to as the doorway to Europe because 9 out of every 10 illegal immigrants coming into Europe come up through Turkey and in through Greece. The vast majority of them, Muslim, which is causing other problems in other nations in Europe, as you probably already noticed on the news. Now, let's knock out the Golden Dawn political wing to start with. They've shut down a couple times in the past, mostly in the early 2000s, 2004, 2005, due to the Greek Liberal Party and the Greek Anarchist Party firebombing their headquarters with Molotov cocktails. But with the austere conditions in Greece, big cutbacks and everything, they actually won 12% public support in this last spring's elections, securing 18 out of 300 seats in the Hellenic Parliament, the electorate body that governs Greece. Now, that's only 6%, but it puts them in, not in some local city government or anything like that, in the national government making the decisions that run the country, with 6% of the seats. That's something if you think about it for an organization like this. Now, I'm going to leave the Golden Dawn there and focus mostly on the Blue Army because that's where you're going to get a lot of the media press and attention. They formed up about 9 years ago when I believe it was an Albanian soccer team was visiting and there was a big match. And a bunch of the Albanian foreign soccer team supporters burned a number of Greek flags in celebration and everything of their victory and everything, and in taunting the Greeks. Members of the Golden Dawn said, we will not take this, we can't have this, and the Blue Army formed. They even share the same headquarters and address as the Golden Dawn political party. They're together. No questions. Now, with this, the Blue Army has set out and has done a number of things that has further endeared them and it enabled them to get that 12% support. For one thing, as I mentioned, the police have had to take severe cuts. All public services have. It has now gotten to the point in Greece where somebody calls up the police, I've got an issue, there's a bunch of guys causing problems on my street, and the police will ask, are they foreign or are they local? Because if they're foreigners, the police will actually give you the phone number to the Blue Army, to the Golden Dawn, and have you call them. And they will send guys down to flush them out. In one particular case, a Greek woman was married to a foreign national, and he was abusing her, beating her. You get the idea. She called the police. They told her to call Golden Dawn. Here's the phone number. Golden Dawn sent Blue Army guys down. They picked him up, hauled him down to the police station, and turned him in for them. The police don't have the manpower. Plus, you've noticed all the riots in Greece and things like that? Guess what? The Blue Army trains. The police get out there and realize, we got 200 officers, we're looking at 3,000 people. We can't hold this line. We cannot protect what we've been assigned to protect. They call the Golden Dawn, who sends Blue Army guys out who have trained to help the police. Will actually have their own riot gear, sometimes transported by police vehicles, and will form up to support the police. Estimations are that in the city of Athens, 80% of the police force voted for Golden Dawn candidates. Across the country of Greece, 50% of the overall law enforcement voted for Golden Dawn candidates. They've got their foot in the door, a little more than just their 12%, their 18 seats I told you to pay attention to. Let's keep going. I'm getting long-winded. Okay, along with that, Golden Dawn and Blue Army set up food and supply distribution for Greeks. The only requirement is you have to be able to prove you're a Greek and show citizenship papers. And in an additional effort to try and discourage, Muslim and other nationalities, foreigners, from coming in and trying to get supplies, even if they can show you, haha, I'm a Greek citizen, I've got my papers, they commonly serve things with pork and make it known. Now, one of the small backlashes to this. The lady I mentioned prior, well, the Blue Army is straight up taking some pages out of the Nazi 1930s playbook. They rolled her husband, sent him off to jail. She's not bothered anymore. He's also not there anymore. Their guys will show back up. We're really a soup kitchen and clothing distribution. Winter's coming on. We're trying to help some fellow Greeks. Your husband's gone. Are there any of his clothes or items you're obviously not going to need anymore we can get for those who are going to need them? And they'll keep coming back. Once they help you, you're expected to support and help them. Get a little extra money you can spare, chip it in. Now, ex-husband, he's in jail, his clothes, chip it in. We can use it. And they take it down and distribute it to others, thus gaining more goodwill. On the flip side, you continue to have a problem. Her husband's gone. Let's say the drain gutters on the house get clogged with leaves and break. She can call them up. They'll send one of the younger members down, one of the younger lads, teenage boys, who will clean out the gutters, check the lawn, mow it and such if need be, and fix and reattach the gutters. Thank you, ma'am. Anything else? No? Okay. And he'll head back to the headquarters. These are the same kind of supporting tactics the Nazis used in the 1930s. I'm running along. Let's move on. Now, they are a nationalistic and racist organization. And yes, they will use good tactics. You don't want to face an enemy 1-to-1, 2-to-2 type thing. They will go out in bands of 4, 6, 8, find foreign, especially illegal troublemakers, and accost them and put them in the hospital. That's one of the big downsides to this group. They are looking for Greeks to be for Greeks, and are willing to use violence when they can get away with it. And in cases where, like in one case, a college student was killed because he wouldn't change his name, that's what his family says. Can't get the whole story, but that's also what the media reports. He wouldn't change his name and it didn't sound Greek enough. He was an ethnic Albanian. His mother told the police it was the Blue Army. It was the Blue Army Golden Dawn. The police told her, unless you can prove it, it would probably be best for all of you to say it was unknown assailants. They're in that deep. Greek is going to be for the Greeks. That's their intent. Now you're like, okay, they won 12%. That was back in May. Their current national approval rating is 20%. It has continued to climb because they are supporting their fellow Greeks. And let's face it, if you've got nothing, things are going horribly, your life is crap, somebody comes along, helps you out, a lot of you are going to think better of them and help support them as they're supporting you. It's how they got in good with the police. Now, as to future endeavors, they put out statements of that too, for quite a while. Greece for the Greeks, the liberation of Constantinople, Istanbul, the capital of Turkey, and the re-Hellenifying, basically the reassertion and conquest of the Black Sea. They don't have it anymore, at all. Look at how much territory we're now talking about. These are some of their proclaimed goals, bringing all that back under Greek authority and control. And they're pretty much taking place straight out of the 1930s, growing in power, the people are hurting, Nazi playbook. Now you've got some basics. If you want to know more, contact me. I promise to try and keep this short. Now gang, if you're wondering, how bad could they be? How bad could they spread out and cause problems outside of their stated target area? Just so you know, they've already got branch offices in Australia and among the Greek immigrants and neighborhoods in New York City, here in the United States. Take care of yourselves. If you need anything, contact me like I said. I am the Articulate Grunt. Keep your heads down. I'll catch you next time. Bye.